been able to slow down the Philadelphia Eagles, and the betting market certainly doesn't think that the Seattle Seahawks can do it in NFL Week 13 when the Eagles travel to Seattle to face the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. The Eagles opened a 3-point favorite, but this line has seen absolutely no resistance, moving up to 5. We have no reason to bet against the Eagles either. No matter how high Philly's numbers get, they're still finding ways to cover them. The Eagles have won and covered every game since Week 3 and have won every game since Week 2 en route to a 10-1 record straight up and 9-2 against the spread. On the other side, the Seahawks are not what they once were, but are still having an okay season with a 7-4 record and a 4-6 against the spread mark. The methodical nature of the Eagles' offense is something special. They are not built on explosive plays or on a ridiculously good passing game or running game, but everything across the board is solid, and they don't turn the ball over. The Eagles are just inside the top 10 with 5.7 yards per play on the season. Carson Wentz has a 28-5 touchdown interception ratio with a fairly pedestrian 60.2% completion rate. The lower completion percentage is acceptable in this case because it goes along with very few interceptions, and that is Wentz's style. The Eagles have rushed for 4.6 yards per carry this season, with a strong year for LeGarrette Blount, with good numbers from the supporting cast of Corey Clement, Wentz, and Jay Ajayi. Ajayi has 211 yards on 22 touches since joining the team. Doug Peterson and Frank Reich know how to put people in positions to succeed, and nobody has succeeded more than the Eagles this year. On the defensive side, once again, the Eagles don't do anything flashy. They get good pressure with the front four, which allows the back seven to sit back and limit big plays and create turnovers. The Eagles have 16 interceptions this season and 31 sacks. Unlike teams that have to use exotic blitz packages that sometimes leave the corners and safeties exposed, the Eagles simply let the front four eat, and it has allowed them to limit the opposition to 4.8 yards per play. It is remarkable how efficient the Eagles are on both sides of the ball, and it is a testament to how teams that do it right with a limited number of mistakes can have so much to celebrate. It has not been pretty by any means, but the NFL is still a league where talent and coaching win out, and not many are better than Pete Carroll. If you apply a lot of context to the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson should be a unanimous MVP. Wilson has willed this team to a 7-4 record in the face of bad offensive line play and a ridiculous amount of defensive injuries. Wilson has a 23-8 touchdown interception ratio with a 62.3% completion rate. He's also the team's leading rusher by a sizable margin, with 401 yards and 6.2 yards per carry. Chris Carson, who is on IR, is second with just 208 rushing yards. The Seahawks are tied for 11th in yards per play with 5.5, and only have turned the ball over 12 times. What Russell Wilson has done with such a high usage rate is quite incredible, and hopefully he'll get the accolades that he deserves, even if the team is having some difficulty down the stretch. The root cause of that difficulty would be defensive issues. Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman are out for the year. Earl Thomas has not been healthy and has missed time. Cliff Averill and Malik McDowell are both out. Every level of this defense has run into some sort of major injury, and usually more than one. Through it all, the Seattle defense is one of 8 teams that has held the opposition to less than 5 yards per play. The NFL is about winning games, so the margin of defeat doesn't matter. So for Seattle, they've done just enough by patching together a defensive lineup and with superhuman efforts from Russell Wilson. A friendly schedule hasn't hurt either, as most of their schedule has been made up of teams that are bad or have regressed. We're done stepping in front of the Philadelphia Eagles train for now. The Seahawks' defensive injuries have shown up against better teams, and you can't hide anything from the Eagles with the way that they are playing. Our pick and prediction is for Philadelphia at -5. For our pick and prediction on this game and every other game this week, and a wealth of free stats and information, check out bangthebook.com.